Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Mustafa Abdul Ghani. I'm going to present three topics which are international monetary system, foreign exchange market, and balance of payment, and how they affect our decision making when we involve in international business. The first topic is monetary system. By definition, monetary system establish the rules by which countries value and exchange their currencies. Also, it provides mechanism to boost international trade by making international economic exchange easier for the people. And also their function is to encourage international trade, which means if there is a proper monetary system, it is very easy for us to buy or sell something from another parts of the world. And also a proper monetary system promote economic growth. For example, if there is a proper monetary system is adapted by a country, many people are going to invest there, and there will be a lot of job opportunities, which will reduce employment in the country, and eventually there will be a very low poverty rate in that country. Now we have come to the history of monetary system, where we will find out that over the course of history we have adapted many different types of monetary system in order to solve our problem with paying for a product inside a country or outside the country. And the first one was bimetallism, where people used to use gold and silver as a currency to pay for the product inside the border or outside the country. A good thing was about bimetallism is that it was acceptable in all over the world, because they were valued based on the weight of that gold and silver. But later on, UK was the first to adapt the gold standard system, because it was very hard for the people to carry gold and silver around for trading purpose. So when UK came up with a gold standard system, uh, they were ready to buy 1 ounce of gold for 4.247 pound. At the same time, US also they adapted the system where they were ready to buy or sell 1 ounce of gold for 20.67 US dollar. So if a person wanted to know exchange rate for USD, they could find it like this. That time it was 1 pound was equal to $4.886. But later on, when there was a phase of interwar, where the fixed exchange rate, which was gold standard, was abandoned due to war, because many countries like US, they printed more money to finance the war, and that's why there was an inflation, and people use fiat for the paper money. So that's why they abandoned the gold standard until 1944. In 1939, when the gold standard was ended due to the war and destruction in many parts of the world, especially in Europe, that's why a new monetary system had to be introduced to recover the world from war and destruction and bring improvement in economic. That's why representatives from 44 countries meet to introduce a new monetary system in Bretton Woods. So in Bretton Woods Agreement, only US dollar was allowed to be pegged to dollar, and that time in 1945 1 ounce of gold was equal to $35, and other currencies were pegged to dollar. At the same time, in the Bretton Woods, there was another two institutions that were formed. The first one is World Bank. It is the International Bank for Reconstruction and Development. So it helps uh, provide loan to countries that were affected by war, and they provide with very low interest rate. At the same time, IMF was also formed, which was established to make sure other countries are pegged to USD in order to bring stability and economic development in all over the world. So after the Bretton Woods Agreement, where countries made from different parts of the world to come up with a better monetary system, where they end up uh, fixing value of the dollar to gold, and then pegging another currency to dollar. And then this system was ended in 1973 because um, dollar was not backed by the gold anymore. So that's why after 1973 many different types of currency regimes were practiced, and the first type of the currency regime is floating exchange rate, where it allows the foreign exchange market to determine the relative value of the currency. So they say so, and the value of the currency will be determined by the demand and supply. And the second one is pegged exchange rate system, where country fixes its currency with the reference to other currency, like they did in the Bretton Woods, where they fixed um, value of dollar to gold. And then there is another type which is managed float, where they hold value of its currency within range of reference currency. For example, when a country want to start currency peg, they peg their currency relative to another currency. So if China wants to peg the value of yen with USD, it means that Chinese government want to the value of USD and yen to move at the same rate. The same system works like this. If the value of Chinese yen value rise, they will sell it back in return to USD, making it more in the market, which will drop the value of yen compared to market. But uh, these practices usually practiced by countries that they want to increase the export rate for their country. And now we might want to know how floating exchange rate system works. So a floating exchange rate system is referred to a system where market determines exchange rate of a currency. So the demand and supply, they determine the exchange rate of the currency. So in case of Malaysia, for example, if the price of Malaysian ringgit is P1, Q1 unit of Malaysian ringgit is going to be demanded by foreigners, those who are outside of Malaysia. For example, if they want to buy certain products from Malaysia, they need to convert their local currency to Malaysian ringgit and then buy product from Malaysia. so that's why they are going to demand. But if the price is P2, Q2 unit is going to be demanded, it means they are going to demand more. At the same time, those who have ringgit Malaysia, for example, if the price is at P1, they are willing to supply Q1 units, but at P2 they are going to supply Q2 units. So the rate of exchange is determined at the level where demand for foreign exchange is equal to the supply of foreign exchange. So the value of Malaysian ringgit will be determined where the demand for the RM and supply of Malaysian ringgit is intersect each other. In the previous slide, I have mentioned that a government who adapt a floating exchange rate system, their currency exchange rate will be determined by the market. But now we want to know what is market, and the foreign exchange market is also known as a currency market. So it's a marketplace where currencies of different countries are traded. It's very dynamic because there is many different country currencies are exchanged, and it's transparent. Uh, we can check the value of the currency anywhere we want, and it's over the counter. And there is two type of market: the spot market, the one that we trade currency on the spot. For example, I have 5,000 ringgit with me, and I will go to the market and I will trade it with dollar on the spot, and that's called the spot market. And the second one is forward market. For example, I will sign a contract with a person that I will sell the ringgit at certain rate at a certain date. I will give you at a certain rate, yeah. And there is two types of exchange rate quotation, which are direct quotation. When we compare a base dollar with the local currency, for example, $1 is equal to 4.44 Malaysian ringgit. And there is another type of quotation which is called indirect quotation. When we compare the local currency, domestic currency, with the base currency, for example, one Malaysian ringgit is equal to 23 cents, 0.23 US dollar. Now we will move on to the balance of payment and its importance. So a balance of payment is a statement that records all the receipts and payments made at international level between one country and the rest of the world. For example, if I buy a computer from Thailand, it will be recorded in the current account of Malaysia's balance of payment as a debit, and at the same time it will be recorded in the current account of Thailand's balance of payment as a credit. At the same time, when people try to invest in Thailand or another country uh, of the world, so it will be recorded in the capital account of the balance of payment. And subsequently in the financial account when there is a in financial investment. But there will be three situations in the balance of payment. There will be surplus when inflows are more than outflow. It's simply relating to the outflow of money. When there is deficit, when there is outflow is more than inflows, or there is when balance of payment is balanced, which will be when there is inflow is equal to outflow. But at the same time, in the balance of payment, we can find out about the balance of trade of a company. For example, when there is a positive net export, it means their exports are more than their import. Or when there is a negative export, and when there is negative net export, which means their import is more than their export. But a negative export or a deficit doesn't mean that it's bad for a country. It means that more products are coming in the country with a very competitive pricing, so it's going to be cheaper for the people. They have more choice. At this similarly in the balance of payment, we can find out whether uh, it can affect the exchange rate. For example, if a Malaysian want to buy a product from US, they need USD to buy the product from that company, because that company, they do not accept Malaysian ringgit. So that's why the Malaysian consumer have to buy USD to pay to that company. So when the Malaysian consumer buy the product from the American company, it will be recorded in the as a debit in the capital account balance of payment of Malaysia. Previously, we found out that the Bretton Woods system was down in 1973 when US government was not ready to back dollar with the gold. So that's why many different types of monetary system was adapted by many different nations in order to promote international trade. But eventually, all of this will affect our decision making as a manager when we want to involve in international trade. For example, I will prefer to do business in a country that develop that follows a fixed exchange rate system, because there is less uncertainty, and also exchange rate affects my decision as a manager. For example, if I'm doing business in Malaysia and I'm buying supplies from Thailand, if Malaysian ringgit depreciate with the Thailand money, it will be hard for me to make a profitable business here. So that's why I have to look for alternatives. For example, buying supplies from Malaysia in order to make profits. At the same time, balance of payment can affect the exchange rate of a country. For example, if a consumer in Thailand buys a chair from me, they need to pay me in ringgit. So therefore, the consumer have to buy ringgit and pay me. So this transaction will be recorded in the current account balance of payment of Malaysia. So as more people started to demand more ringgit, the price of ringgit will be appreciated. So that's why more Malaysian ringgit is going to be demanded. That's why the exchange rate of the currency will be increased. At the same time, balance of payment will provide a better view for the government also, because they will be able to analyze an industry, for example, their export and import, the import of the goods and services, and produce a better policy to promote growth. That's all. Thank you very much.